Hello, I'm Cecil Wright. I've been in the large yacht brokerage business for the past 20 years or so, and I've enjoyed meeting some of the characters almost as much as I have enjoyed learning about the yachts themselves. Undoubtedly, one of the most interesting people I've come across over that time is Gerhard Berger, Formula One champion, serial large yacht owner, and currently owner of the 45-metre fed ship Togatsu. So I took the opportunity to go and see Gerhard in his office in Monaco and discuss why it was he was so interested in fed ships, what it was that he liked so much about his yacht, and why in fact it's now available for sale. Where did the idea of Togatsu come from? Because Togatsu is a classic fed ship, what we call today a classic fed ship.
I was a guy going around like you and saw a boat and I liked it, and of course I asked and I got a feel if it's built in a good way and if it's but I never went that deep into it really to understand exactly the difference. Just at the stage when I bought Togatsu, I started to realize there's more in it.
Sure.
And when I start to use Togatsu, then I start suddenly to understand what the difference is. It's just a different way of building. It's a different way of qualifying. It's every door handle, it's every vibration, it's every noise, it's every smell of exhaust, and. But in the end of the day, it gives you suddenly a boat what is different than anything others you experienced before.
The time that Togatsu was built, she had all these wonderful things that none other boat of her age has had.
I going also sometimes on boats, on new fed ships, and I can see again how far they are ahead of everything others around. Yeah. It's really impressive, and it's exactly what you just explained. Yeah. You see there's engineering, there's big engineering behind it, and obviously it sounds all nice, but in the end of the day it has to be paid too. That's why it's a higher price.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
I mean, there's nothing for free in this life, but if you are prepared to pay more, you can get more.
This is a really, really important point. People are always talking about why fed ship is so much more expensive, and it is relatively more expensive for the same size boat as anything else. But when a boat is a sum of parts, and the parts that fed ship put in and the way they put them in, with the man hours and the engineering, the research and development, you're getting a lot more. It's not one white boat, another white boat. They're two very different animals.
Today, Togatsu is, I think, it's a very good looking boat. And then exactly as you said, to move tenders out of the way and things, I think it made the boat much better usable and gave great space on the deck. I always loved the boat, but I never liked to sit between the tenders on this deck. And I say, well, I don't want to see the tender engine when I drink a glass of wine. And that leads me to do what I did.
So if you were to do a new Togatsu, what would be the elements that you would now include that you don't currently have on Togatsu?
There's no question for me that my first choice would be fed ship. To get the best quality, to get the best resale value, and to get something really special, it's going to the masters, and the masters are fed ship.
I've recently started my own business, as you know. How do you feel about my approach to it that we're working on?
Well, Chris, I know you a long time, and I know you as a good salesman. So I was quite happy when you told me that you try to do it in a different way, and I can see you're trying to do this, and you want specialized on one shipyard, so that you want collect the best knowledge worldwide on this shipyard, so that you can provide your client with special knowledge, with better expertise than other ones, because you're doing justice. Yeah. And this made a lot of sense for me. And when you told me that you're going to do it with fed ship, I said, well, that's spot on. That's really something what others are not doing. Others trying to sell everything, and others try to understand everything, and they don't, because it's not possible. So I think you have a very good approach.
Yeah.
And then I saw your magazine coming out, and I could see that also here you're trying to do something different than others.
You know, people make business decisions about buying trucks, aeroplanes, houses, whatever it is. The yachting decision is much more emotional.
It's personal, very
It's
personal.
personal and emotional. And what I try to do as a broker, an advisor, as a representative, is to help people make what is essentially an emotional decision in a much more informed way. You know, we're just a group of 6 people. We need to be expert. You can find any yacht on the market. A couple of taps on the internet, you have the entire fleet on the market for sale. But how do you make sense of that? And I think with a relationship with somebody that has credibility, or with a relationship with somebody who has authority in the yachting market, that will take away all the anxiety that you're making a poor decision from a practical position, and allow you just to do the emotional thing, which is decide on which boat suits you.
You know, you have buyers, they're coming around and say, I want a 45-meter yacht. That's one buyer. And somebody comes around and says, I want a 45-meter fat ship. That's a different buyer. So if he wants a 45-meter fat ship, your address is the right one, because you're going to have the knowledge about the fat ship in South America, the one in Asia, the one in Zinc. You know the conditions, you know the money spent on it, you know the history, you know more or less what the price can be, because you're very close to this market.
You've owned Taketsu for a number of years. I must have been on board 30 times. I've seen, you know, with and without you. I've walked around with potential people. I've taken my brokers around it. We spent a lot of time on board that boat, discussing the boat, the history of the boat, talking to all the team and the various captains. You know, I now have an in-depth knowledge of that boat. Many other people know it's for sale, but fewer people have that particular knowledge, because it's impossible. It's impossible to know that much about every single boat.
I'm a quality guy, and if I'm a quality guy, I'm listening to the advantage, and when I understand the advantage, then I got no choice. And then automatically you're going to end up with fat ship. So what I want to say is, selling, it's a complex thing, and I appreciate very much to see somebody trying to have a deeper approach, a different way doing it, and I'm quite sure that in the end of the day, it's going to pay off.
Obviously, great to hear such kind words from Gerhard Berger, such an influential and experienced yacht owner. I'll be interviewing 1 or 2 more members of the industry sometime soon, and I hope you'll tune in to watch those.